So George Lucas is rumored to be directing an episode of The Mandalorian. Now before you roll your eyes, hear me out. George retired a long time ago from directing at this point, and I'm sure he's having a great time kicking his feet back and chilling on Skywalker Ranch. But after a long time away from Star Wars, he has finally started to come around again for The Mandalorian. It seems like George is getting a little bit tired of sitting on the sidelines and running out the clock. I think he wants to get back into the game. Not only is George getting bored of retirement, but I'm sure he's also tired of seeing people ruin his original creation and true love. I mean, Star Wars was everything to this man. He put more time into Star Wars than I'll ever put into anything in my entire life, and it can't feel good to watch people tear down his legacy. So far, John and Dave have had him on set quite a lot, and I think they may be opening the door for him to come back. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him credited as an assistant director or something else like that next season, or maybe even for the Book of Boba Fett, and then the season after that he full on directs an episode. If John and Dave do pull this off and bring back George, at that point they can just ride off into the sunset because their work is finished. In season 2 of The Mandalorian, we got teased with a Snoke-looking figure in a tube, and we all kind of assumed that these bodies were being injected with Baby Yoda's blood in order to create some Force-sensitive being. And because Palpatine made Snoke, and because when they showed Snoke in these tubes in episode 9, it looked very similar. We all assumed that in this episode they were teasing Snoke. Well, in a leak it was revealed that Snoke will actually enter The Mandalorian season 3. Well, at least a version of him will. It's said that we will actually see Snoke bodies coming to life. Whether they will be Force sensitive or not, I don't know. But seeing Snoke actually come to life will be pretty cool. Now this does have me a little worried that they will try a little bit too hard to make this tie in with the sequel trilogy. But if this is as far as they go, then I think it's fine. If they just show us the creation of Snoke, or maybe even just the early versions of Snoke, then I think that's really cool and different, and it still keeps the sequels separate from The Mandalorian. Personally, I really hope this leak is true. The leak then goes on to say that we will actually see a live action Mandalore. Now this is pretty strongly implied by season 2, but we don't know for sure if we will see it yet. This leak just gives us even more confirmation that we will, and I'm all for it. We've seen Mandalore many times in animation, and the planet has always interested me a lot. I really don't even think the story of season 3 can progress without us going to Mandalore at some point, and honestly I think we will spend most of the season on Mandalore, now that it's technically under the Empire's rule, but the Empire has fallen. I'm sure some faction of the Empire is still running it, and I'm sure we'll meet a cool new villain that's posted up on Mandalore. It has also been leaked that Bo-Katan will attempt to kill Din Djarin for the Darksaber. Now I have already done an entire video on what I think will happen with this whole situation, and I don't think this means what you think it means. Bo is too smart to just try and kill Din and lose a great warrior. I think she is going to let Din keep the saber and be the rightful ruler of Mandalore, and then I think they will work together to take it back after rounding up all of the Mandalorians that they can find. After they retake Mandalore, Din will become ruler, but he will make some decisions as ruler that Bo won't like. She will grow tired of the decisions that Din makes, and she will eventually challenge him to a duel for the Darksaber and for the throne. I think this will be the big battle at the end of the season. I just can't see Bo-Katan being okay with retaking Mandalore but not being the ruler of it. I think Bo will end up defeating Din, but then Baby Yoda comes back at the last second to save him. I know that was a little out of left field, but I get carried away sometimes. Sue me. George Lucas directing an episode of The Mandalorian would be an absolutely perfect match. I think it would light the Star Wars fandom on fire, and we would all be reenacting the scene from the end of Return of the Jedi. But seriously, I hope they can make that happen. I personally owe George so much. I would love to see him come back for one last direction, or maybe even a few of them. The Snoke leak to me is the coolest one. I want to see a bunch of Snoke bodies coming to life and then being thrown away if they aren't Force sensitive, kind of like Frankenstein. Yeah, that would be weird and creepy, but we need some more creepy vibes in Star Wars. Seeing Mandalore is kind of a given considering where the story seems to be going, but getting reassured that it will happen is always a good thing. I have always wanted to see a live action Mandalore, and I don't think John and Dave will disappoint. The planet has always been cool to me, but I'm sure they will add some new things to make it even cooler, and I know we'll meet some new characters that will enhance the planet even more. Bo-Katan trying to kill Din is a good story decision to me, but I do think it would be dumb if they made Bo try to kill Din before they retake Mandalore, because Bo is just smarter than that. That's a lose-lose situation for Bo. Either she loses and she dies, or she wins and Din dies. Or maybe Din gets away, but he still won't help her anymore. Bo wouldn't make a decision that would hurt her chances of retaking Mandalore, but once she has already taken Mandalore, that's a different story. That's a final battle that I would love to see, and I think it has potential to be a perfect ending to the season if done right. But what do you think about George directing an episode of The Mandalorian? Personally, I would like it, but I'm sure there's some people out there that would hate it, so let me know what you think. If you never want to miss another piece of Star Wars news, subscribe to the channel. I post news videos on this channel at least once a day. If you like this video, consider checking out some of my other content and subscribing to the channel, and also leave a like on the video. But other than that, thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.